next one we're going to tie is, I call it the hornworm, and actually what it is it's the caterpillar from a sphinx moth. And you find them in cottonwoods and oak trees. It's those stupid worms that hang from that thin thread that fall on you when you walk underneath the tree. So that's what that is. And I didn't develop it, but I developed the style of it. I hope that you can get the parts, because these parts are really, I lost a bunch of them trying to put them in the bag. And that's why they have tape on them. It's so that you can handle these.
Which thread?
Now, this can be tied on a smaller hook or a larger hook, and you would change the chenille accordingly, because some of these will get to be 1.5 inches long and probably 1/4 inch thick when they're getting to the finished stage. But you should have a biot, and the biot I'm using is from a chicken feather. You can use a duck one, but you want it to be fairly small. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some thread on the body, and we're going to create a little lump right at where the curvature starts to curve down on the...
Are you going to tie one first?
Yeah, I'll tie one first, you can watch. Now, I like to do a full body wrap. A lot of people say that's wasting your time. Some people use where they start as their markings for making proportions and stuff. And it's all on how it works best for you. If you tie it from the middle to the back, it's not going to change the fly. I just like to have a coat of thread on my shaft so that things tend not to slip around. Okay, when I get back down to almost the end, I want to make a little ball there, kind of, so it has like a little step there, like so. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. Now, if I did these right, the point should be sticking out. What you do is you lay it towards you, and as you wrap it on, it pulls it over. And you want it up against that little ball so it sticks up. Like
So this is just a single biot?
Yeah, just a single one, because if you look at the actual worm, they have a very little horn on the back. That's how they got the name hornworm. Okay. Now, if you are having problems with the tape, then go ahead and pull it out of the tape and hold it with your fingers. Now, this biot is so thin that you want it to be about 1/4 inch. You can actually use your scissors to trim it, because you won't be able to tell whether it's a point or not. And if you trim it at a slant, it actually helps point it. So I want it to be about 1/4 inch, like so. Now, if it's not standing up enough for you, then just put one wrap. There we go. All right. Okay, so then you can point it up. And that's kind of how it is on the actual bug. Okay, the next thing, what's on the next thing in the recipe?
Chenille should be the rib.
Alright, you want to try to put the chenille on the bottom if you can. I don't have too good a luck with putting stuff on the bottom. But you want it to about 1/8 of an inch. Yeah. 1/8 of an inch from the head because. Anyway, yeah, that's good. Just so as long as it ends underneath. The rest of it will be covered up. All right. Then we do the silver.
No, black
Black thread. Okay. You'll have 2 pieces of black thread, and you're going to tie those on the top. And I know I'm awful sloppy, but
Fish don't care.
it works when I get done. Gene keeps trying to teach me to be neat, and I just never make it. Okay, and then and you can leave the tape on the silver thread or the silver wire.
Silver wire, or is that wire, Doug, or?
That's mylar, I believe. It's
Just wire, right?
it's silver mylar,
Okay, so it's tinsel.
so it's like a tinsel.
It looks like a wire.
Yeah,
But
It
it's,
looks like French tinsel.
yeah.
it actually is something I picked up at the show that they were selling them for $5 a box.
Oval, fine oval tinsel.
Yeah, and what it was a sample box of this. Okay. Now, in the recipe, the first thing we did was do the chenille, so that'll be the first thing that we used. And we want to put our thread at about 1/8 of an inch from the eye. And then you start wrapping. And you want to put one wrap behind the silver wire, but in front of the black thread. Then wrap forward, like so, so that you have your silver thread the second level in. And the reason for that is it allows you to follow the track of the chenille, because you want to do that. Now we lock this in the same way we talked about earlier, about one behind, one in front, one behind, and one in front. And that will lock it in, and then cut it without cutting your thread. And I don't care who you are, you'll do that at least once in your lifetime. Okay. Now, I always have trouble with this when I put this on this way, or I have them, because they're actually natural tendency to wrap themselves together. You want them to be separated.
Use a 6/0 pretty heavy thread. I was taking a look at it. What size black thread would that be, Doug?
This
That
is
looks like
actually crochet, or what do they call that?
Needlepoint?
Embroidery.
Embroidery thread. Okay, so this is like an A or bigger. Okay.
Oh yeah, and what it is
That's fine, George.
they come in 4 strands, so it gives you two strands. And
Okay, there it is. Yeah.
okay, so now you got them spread, and you want to take the closest one and lay it on there, so it's on 1/3 of the way down on this side, and then you make a tying wrap to hold it in place, so it becomes, like you see there, a thread. And then you take the back one and do the same thing
That's different.
on the back side.
Very different.
Holding them with your hands. Now, you can see by looking down on this that you want to kind of have them even if you can. And right now there's nothing holding them there, but you want to space them about where you want them. So about that far apart, and then cinch them down with 2 or 3 good wraps, so they're not going to slide on you. Then you take your silver wire and you follow the groove of your chenille. And you don't have to pull it too tight, you just want it to hold it in place. Okay, so now your body should be, and you can take your bobkin and straighten it out a little bit if you want to. It's closing up on you. But anyway, you want it to look like there's 2 stripes running down the back. And then you can cut off all the excess material and then create your head. And you don't have to be very careful about cutting off the material because you're going to make a fairly good head. Because if you look at the actual worm, their head is almost as big as their body as far as thickness. And it's kind of... Oh. That's going to give me a problem. And then you just do a half hitch and get it stopped.
I missed what you did with the silver wire. Did it just go on the top?
It just goes on the top to hold the black thread where you have positioned it, and it also keeps it there. You don't want to pull so tight on it that it goes up into the grooves and disappears.
Did you wrap it or did you just?
Yeah, I spiral wrapped it along the groove in between the chenille. And then you put a little cement on the head. You try not to be as shaky as me. I do much better shows in the daytime. But anyway, that's it.